Okay, let's get this show on the road. And first up, what? First up, as always, we take a look through some of the big news stories of the week. And to help us do it, a man who's no stranger to the newspapers, broadcasting legend Joe Ferguson.
That's me. Do you know what? It's very sterile in here. You think that the whole team would go, yay, Joe Ferguson.
Well, they're meant to. Hang on, we'll try it again.
No, just do it now. Come on, 3, 2, 1. Everybody in the crew. Joe Ferguson. Let's hear it for him.
Come on, pretend there's some life out there in our crew today.
Static camera bastards.
So anyway, Joe, before we take a look through the papers, you've been in the papers a lot over the years. With your shock jock antics and stuff like that. But what I want to know is, what's the most ridiculous thing that's ever been written about you?
Probably the most ridiculous thing ever was that I had a heart attack.
Right.
What was it? I think it was 1998, and I was working Wednesday and Thursdays all night shift, and then I was doing Saturday morning.
Right.
So that meant I was only getting a couple of hours sleep, and after about 4 months, I just collapsed in the studio.
Right.
And next thing, it was in the Belfast Telegraph, Joe Ferguson has heart attack, and I'm going, what? You know, I mean, I'm 40 now. Yeah. I was only, what, I think I was 29 or something at the time. I had a heart attack, you know, and then my mum nearly had one, God rest her soul, whenever she read that. But it's just a lot of crap in the newspapers, you know. But it's always good to see my name. All right.
Now, tell us this one here, the April Fool's story that made all the tabloids, all the nationwide papers, didn't it?
Yeah, that was when I was working in Liverpool. And it was my first April Fool's, and I've never been one to do April Fool gags because, you know, what's the point? And I just decided this day to turn around and say, coming up, the last ever appearance of Steps.
Right.
And what I did was I walked down and put a pair of Painter's industrial steps outside the radio station, thinking nothing more of it. And the next thing I get a call from the Merseyside police saying, I'm sorry, but, and there was something like 3,500 people all congregated outside, stopping the traffic, and, you know, and I can see by the reaction in here, it was the funniest thing ever that happened. But trust me, in those days, we laughed. All right, I'll get my coat. Where's Lindsay when you need her?
Anyway, Brit Awards this week as well. Let's talk about the Brits. Chris Evans back as host again this year.
Yeah, isn't it good? I mean, the second year. This is actually his third time, isn't it? Because he did it, was it 1995? I remember that because it was the first time, apart from the Big Breakfast and TFI Friday, and it was great to see him doing something like that where he comes alive. And let's face facts, the Brit Awards they're not the Brits anymore. I mean, they've turned into the Grammys, the Oscars. It's all kiss ass and lovey, lovey, lovey. But for me, it will just be pure Chris Evans because it's just nice to see him back. He's a huge hero of mine, and I could care less who wins one of those little things. Because as a matter of fact, there was a story. Not the Arctic Monkeys, it was one of them, Franz Ferdinand. If they win, they're just going to put their Brit Award on eBay. So, nice. That's thoughtful, isn't it? But for me, it will just be for watching Chris Evans and nothing else.
All right, and it's also great to have him back on the radio, on Radio 2 now as well, isn't it?
Yep.
Even though he's up against me on a Saturday afternoon, so don't listen. Yeah,
and he's up against Premiership football as well, so, you know, and by the way, your show last week.
Yes. What was wrong with my show last week?
I've never listened to it, Robin, since you did my phones those times. Oh yeah, Chris, just great on radio. I mean, because the guy, you see, there's a lot that you can still learn, because I've said this, and I'll say it time and time again, with you being the exception, there is not one piece of radio worth talking about in this whole damn country. It's bland, it's awful, it is just a time check, and that's it. With Chris Evans, who's been doing it for now on 15, 16 years, and he still sounds as fresh as ever, you know. And he's had his knocks, he's had his ups and his downs, but you know, the guy's a millionaire, and he's back on Radio 2, and he's back where he should belong. He should be back on breakfast radio as well.
All right.
So if you're a normal Northern Irish DJ, listening to Chris Evans and stop copying my stuff from years ago.
All right. So you've been sifting through the papers. I see you actually have managed to get past page 3.
Well, you see, that I'm not a breast man.
No?
As you've seen from my ex-girlfriend. could you cut that part out? That was a joke. The joke. Yes, I've got past pastry. I mean, the only.
That's Chantel and Preston everywhere this week.
Everywhere. I mean, it's just become so boring now. Apparently, Chantel and Cheston were holed up in an apartment overnight, over the weekend. And but have you seen Preston's girlfriend though? Yeah. She's 1,000,000 times much better work than that minger. Yeah. You know, it's awful. Then in the Sun, obviously a pretty bad news day. They've actually got Chantel lookalikes.
Really?
I mean, what for? Chantel is just a bad rip-off of Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton is just a bad rip-off of everybody else. Oh, I can't find it. Trust me, it's in there somewhere. But
talking about Paris Hilton, actually, there was a report in one of the papers this week that some Indian film producer wants Paris Hilton to play Mother Teresa.
Oh, jeez. Well, obviously a made-up story. It's Paris Hilton's, who's going to be at the Brits also.
Yes.
She's going to be doing the ITV2 stuff. What is going on? It's like ITV have run out of presenters and ideas, but yeah, Paris Hilton, I think she's got another movie coming out in the States. Right. Because she did. Have you seen the House of Wax? I've heard a lot about it, and I definitely will never ever watch it. Awful. Yeah. No, I wouldn't believe that. Her, Mother Teresa. Well, I know. It's like me being a virgin. You know. Also, summer's coming up. Do you know how you know it's going to be summer? How do you know it's going to be summer? Well, I mean, there's a few obvious clues. When you think of summer... Do women start shedding their clothing? Not for me. Let me have a look at me on the monitor. No, not for me. There's one here. You always know that it's summer. Natalie sorted this out for me earlier on. There's Lindsay. Yeah. It's my ex-girlfriend. Where is it? You always know it's summer by, obviously, the strawberries coming out. Right, okay, yes, yeah. People booking their holidays. Yes. But you always know that it's summer when Big Brother comes along. And you know at Christmas, Davina McCall does nothing else but shag her brains out. You know, another little baby hamster, because she does look like a hamster when she smiles. And she does. Do you know, Davina has really started to annoy me. She's annoyed me for years. I caught on 10 years ago when she started MTV. So you remember John Kearns used to work for Cool FM? Yes. John Kearns and Davina McCall started MTV at the movies. The exact same day. And I went over to stay with John for a while. Met Davina McCall. Thought she was a nice girl. Just breath smelled. I will always remember that. Always remember that. Just like your BO. Thank you. But I just don't get it. Every time Big Brother is now on, she's always pregnant, and it's all about her. She should just become an assistant in director inquiries, because every show she does, she just gives out a telephone number. Right. It annoys me. So you won't be watching Big Brother 7 this year? Yeah, of course. You know. You have to. You have to. Especially after Celebrity Big Brother, which I thought was pretty cool. More Valentine stories. Local. Local Valentines. Oh, who's made the local stories this week? Well, I mean, there's only two celebrities we're talking about. That's obviously myself and Jim Core. Yes. There you go. There's a nice wee pic, and you get that shot, which... With a little baby Core on the way as well. Is there? Yes, there is. Andrea didn't tell me about that. No. Probably a paternity suit. Yeah, that's not a nice story. That's a lovely story. Nice couple. That's Jim. You see, this is going to be Lindsay's show this week, because that's Lindsay's friend. Yes. Not right, Linz? Oh, she's not talking now. Yeah. And but nice people, aren't they? Yes. I've touched the bump. Do you know that? Sorry. I touched the bump. I did. I felt the little baby a few weeks ago. Well, anyway, back to me. And but yeah, I think that's a lovely story, because Gail is just one of the nicest people I've met once. There you go. Yeah. So there we go. So we're talking about the Miss Northern Ireland contest. That bit'll be cut out. What? We're talking about the Miss Northern Ireland contest. Will any of this be cut? Later on. No, it won't. Are you sure? We're keeping it all in. Yeah, okay. So the gorgeous Miss Northern Ireland, Lucy Evangelista, will be joining us a little bit later on. Yeah. You got to host the big show last year, didn't you? Yeah, that was the second year in a row. Same gags recycled. Yes. Same girls recycled sometimes. I'm joking. It's a joke. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was talking to Alison over the weekend, and she wants me to do it again. So you probably know about the meeting. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Great stuff.
Always get a free suit out of it.
You do,
which
yes.
which is pretty cool. But yeah, I look forward to it every year.
You're back doing that, and I'm back in my little box again this year.
Sorry?
In my little box at the side of the stage.
Because you really are the Michael Barrymore of Belfast, aren't you? But can I just tell you about how much time have we got left?
Let's do a very quick one.
Oh, come on.
Another quick one.
As a matter of fact, how much videotape have you got? Because I could do this all day.
Well, give us one more.
Am I doing the quiz later on?
You're doing the quiz later on, yes.
Nice one. By the way, get a desk and 2 seats and get someone to do that.
Right, okay.
All right. Well, I mean, not that there, obviously. But, you know, have a,
yes,
point system. Who
Right.
keeps the points?
Lindsay and Natalie do.
Because I do watch this.
Do you?
Yeah. You know, you got
on
like a late night show?
Yes.
Well, I'm because I make a couple of calls to Quiz Mania. Yeah. So I'm waiting to get on, and I just flick over, and I watch it.
Good.
Very nice of Debbie and Jerry. But Sienna Miller and Jude Law, apparently it's now officially off.
Right.
And there's a picture here, if I can find it, and I'm not surprised because far be it from me to talk about anybody's looks, but I just do not get Sienna Miller at all. I've lost the newspaper. Is this it in here? That's okay. Here we go. There you go. Can you get that?
Yeah, that's not the best photograph of
What
her.
does that say to you? Trip to the dentist.
Yeah, yeah.
Get that tongue well scrubbed. That is awful. No wonder he put it in the nannies.
Oh, God.
What?
No, nothing.
Well, it's not as if it's children's TV, is it? Natalie and Lindsay getting their breasts out every Friday night. I mean, come on. Anyway.
Right, anyway.
Right, that's it.
Thank you, right.
And,
yes.
She'll be back for the quiz later on, but coming up very, very soon will be Lindsay and Natalie. What are they doing?
They're doing their What's On guide this week.
They're doing their... They're doing their What's On.
Yes, they are.
Later on, thanks.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
Happy Valentine's Day.
But in the meantime, thank you, yes, okay, we've got to get some live music on, stay there, we've got to get some live music on. Here is Nina Armstrong. Have a look at this.